So here's the thing. I'm not even going to change. I'm going to read it line by line. Basically, I'm not going to overshadow or throw an umbrella over it because it is the simplest things. And when you all really learn this system, which you have in your discretion at your own homes, on your computers, you have it. But when it's in you and you understand the system and the science of boxing at large, you'll be able to answer these things. As I spoke this morning, or it was yesterday, and I told asked Stacy this. What do you think it feels like to know every question that a person will ask you about boxing? Every question, any question. To have that ability and that power is absolutely you can't write about it, you can't script it. But one thing is for sure, you can pass it along and make sure that the people that you ordain have the right answers. So it's a simple one liner. The first thing you got to realize is what's happening. You're not spacing and you're leaning over your foot. So when you throw your shot, you punch from your back foot so you can come right back and they can't grab you. Okay, so remember this, Steve. If you throw a right hand, left hook, uppercut, hook, right hook, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you're off your back foot when you're throwing, because if you lean on your front foot, your weight is going to pull you forward. They'll be able to hug you tight, because that's what I would totally have my guy do to you if you had great offense or very extreme power and I wanted to suffocate it and not allow you to get off. I totally do that. I suffocate your butt like your dearest love, you know? And the key is to make sure that you do not cross that line. That head does not go over that toe, neither does your shoulders. Because the minute that you sacrifice your balance and lean over that line, which is your front toe, you're easy to catch and pull in. So now I'm going to read it line by line. Okay. Fight off your back foot. That's exactly what it says. Balance punches and half step back immediately. Throw that punch, half step back. You can't do that if you're not balanced and if you're not on your back foot. All right. If you fall in with your punches, you will be held for sure. Period. If you fall in at all with your punches. Okay. That's it. That's what I wrote. That's the bottom line. The thing about it is, Steve, coach, you've already taught this. The thing about it is, it's not muscle memory yet, meaning it's not second nature, just to come front of mind when it's happening. So that will require you to continue to stick in that basic realm and digest until every time you burp, you taste fighting off your back foot and staying balanced and preventing your guy from being held. Lloyd asks, footwork clinic. Share the punch logistics video for, well, yeah, I got the video for you, Lloyd. Now I'm going to throw the solar plex shots. Number 9. See what it looks like from the side. Straight shot from the hip and in. Slowly rake upward. And back to sender. Good. Beautiful. Number 10. Here. Right solar plex shot. Stabbing in and up. Head off the line. And that's what they look like. There is absolutely nothing more important than a solid base and foundation in the sport of boxing. Remember this: more doesn't always mean better. Take it from me, someone who has decades of experience in the sport. Stick with the fundamentals of boxing and be sure to get proper mentorship. You'll see change for sure. It's time to get your stars and stripes. Class is in session. It's time to box. Peace. And the basics of punch logistics is absolutely, you're welcome, coach. It's a privilege to be able to do this because I know where you guys will be soon. You have the boxing Bible in your possession. And now the next thing is to do is to get operate your facility and your social media accordingly as you are acquiring that muscle memory. And these things are second natures. They're one liners. When people are asking you a question, you're like, blah, blah, blah. And, it doesn't matter what question it is. I had this finished before it landed on my desk. I had typed all the answers because it's muscle memory. You can't pay anyone to learn it faster. It's a decade. Minimal, grueling. By the second decade, you're really, really there. Okay. It's not a 6-month thing. It's not a 1-year thing. You can have it all in front of you. You won't know that stuff. Like soon, one day you'll know every single download, every single hard copy, digital program. You'll know everything about all of it. And then so much more. And that's when you'll become an encyclopedia, and that'll be muscle memory. And that's when you understand the science of boxing. Not before. You can pretend to people who have less knowledge, but not until then. So Lloyd, he wants to know about the basic punch logistics. And we all know that it's all about the stance. And fortunately, Coach Stephen Willits did a great video that we have on social media on the 7-point stance. All right. And thank you, coach, for doing that. It looks good. It did really well with the views. People looked at it and they understand. People don't know anything, man. You guys are really are so ahead of the curve and so far beyond the years. Like Bruce Lee came before the proper time. Like he would have been great in 2000, the year 2010. Imagine that dude just coming out then, and Mike Tyson and Ali. Imagine those guys coming out then, at the brink of social media, like every channel, every outlet. But it's very conscious. Stay very conscious of your basic footwork. So thank you, Lloyd, for leaving this. I did the pleasure of adding links. So as you see under your question, I have your punch logistics. Just so I'm not blowing smoke. So we put a good punch logistics, a basic fundamental, and also a footwork basic guide. Now, all of you may be thinking, well, we already got the guide. We we already. No, it's so much to take in, man. You'll be surprised. Every question that I have, except for the very last question, which I'll share with you, you all have it in your possession. But it goes to show you how much boxing we're doing and how much boxing it is and how many skills and skill sets and training muscle memory that it requires. And it's not something that you can sneeze at. The next question was Coach Thomas Himmelberg. And Coach Thomas asked, when this is a great one, and it's also right in front of you for you to utilize. So I'll point you in the right direction. So it's very clear to you. All right. So what are your recommended training progressions for sparring, particularly younger novice boxers? The same as it is for the old boxers. It's all about grooming. If they are going to be competitive boxers, one thing that must be underway. And Thomas, I did a 6-day response to you. And so the principles of developing them, it doesn't matter what scenario it's about. This is how you do it. Every single day, there is partner training, whether it's a, one of the guys who will be on the team or just a simple volunteer partner that you will work the basics of learning how to spar. Remember the first time you ever sparred? That bloody nose or that black eye, or you survived because the other guy was worse. You never forget that time you got in that ring. What never happens is you never get comfortable if you do not do that all the time. So we spar inside of the ring or outside of the ring every day. We work muscle memories. So the first day, Monday, we walk through tier 1s and 2. So basically, as you're getting warmed up, you do your warm ups and then you get into what is your bag work and stuff. We have that is typed up thoroughly in your programming. And that 6-week training camp, it shows you how that happens every single day. The constant being in that position scenario, it makes you comfortable. So you want your guys more comfortable than the other guy. Okay, that's what you want. You do not want your guy in the ring and not totally comfortable. Day 2, defensive tactics in sparring, 4 to 6 rounds. All right, and the first day is the exact same, 4 rounds to 6 rounds, so you can get that real understanding of repetition. So every day these guys are sparring, not in there, boom, 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 not that kind of sparring. That's not learning. That's just fighting with gloves and headgear on. Okay. Day 3 is your simulation. So you've worked your punch logistics in day 1, your defense and counter punching in day 2. In day 3, you're focusing on your simulation. So you go in that boxing ring or in that box and you work on how this looks when it just kind of flows. And it also is systematic and it gives guys an understanding of what's tomorrow. And that's easy to get people up for. They get excited about doing that. I love taking the guys to the competition when I was doing it like that. And they're excited, they're pumped, man. It's fight week or fight prior week to fight week, and they get super excited. So the simulation, you definitely want to rotate your sparring partners on that day, so everyone gets a minimal of 6 rounds, 4 to 6 rounds. Now, mind you, they don't have to do them straight. They can go 2, then come out. The other guy gets 2, then they rotate. If you got 3 or 4 people, so you can do that. And while they are working, have the other guys watching, observing, or shadow boxing. All right, so that's another way. The day 4, you want to work inside boxing skills. So that's where you're working inside of the box, close quarters, 4 to 6 rounds. Once again, we usually do 4. We do it at 75 to 90 seconds. Fighting inside is not like fighting on the outside. Fighting inside, that stuff is truly tough. And I want you to make sure that your guys are getting the necessary repetition in for these guys so they're comfortable, because nothing is more frightening than fighting on the inside when you don't know how to really do it good and the other guy does. That's horrible. It's bad and it brings bad karma. And so when we did that, what we made sure we concentrated on was we made sure that there was balance. If there's more experienced guy in the ring, we made sure that we took liberty to what we call defang him or her, meaning handicap her. They couldn't do as much as the other person would do until it become more of a balanced match. You always want your people more educated. Let me see what you're saying here. Let me put it on the screen, Thomas. TSOB, bend your knees. The thing I repeat the most in the gym is stay off your front foot. Yeah. Yeah. And there's the time when you got to get on that put that weight there and stuff. So it truly does matter. But day 5 is your full blown sparring. Okay. And so day 6, you do a kind of review of the week, progression and your athlete report. So you basically grade the guys, how they did, let them have conversation that matters, that they get to speak what they actually experience. A minimal of 25 rounds should be accomplished each week of sparring. When they're young fighters, they need that repetition. You're creating the next generation of pure boxers, Lomachenko kind of guys. All right. So I hope that gave you, that answered your question.